The world is in your head. The world is in your head, and how you feel about yourself and what you prioritize and what you care about will determine what you see. For a lot of people, they find themselves in a position judging others. They find themselves in a position judging themselves. They find themselves in a position where they accept the stories that they've created for themselves. But when you understand that there is what is, and then there's your perception of what is, you will start questioning certain things. You will start being clear. You start prioritizing clarity and energy. You start prioritizing things that allow you to see the world from a fresh perspective rather from your narrow point of view. When you want to see things a certain way, when you wish some things were true, when you want your beliefs to be actuality, when you want certain things, you miss the details of what is. You start wanting things your way, so you live life to making sure things go your way rather than observing what it actually is and being able to make the decision that makes the most sense, right? Because you see something happens to you. There's what is, and then there's your perception of what is, right? There's what you're going through, and then there's your perception of what you're going through. Hey, this is what's the possibilities for me today. Oh, look at this person. This is how this person, this is what this person's really doing. Oh, I don't know if I can, make anything happen. I don't know if anything is possible for people like me. We see things, there's what is, and then there's our perception of what is. So now if you see that perception controls the world you see, if you can understand that who you are and what angle you're looking at the world from determines what you see, if you can understand that, how you feel on the day-to-day, what you consume, how you feel about yourself determines the world you see. Wouldn't you stop for 2 seconds and say, okay, what can I do that brings me the most clarity? Let me question. What can I do on the day-to-day that gives me an accurate outlook on life rather than viewing life through my narrow perspective based on what I believe to be true? Because remember this, something powerful about the mind, fam, is whether you're right or wrong, you're right. Whether you think you're right or wrong, you're right. Whether you think is this true or this is not true, you start to create things, oh, this is what I want it to be. Start judging yourself. Start judging others. You start thinking you know what people are going through when you don't have the full understanding or the information of what's going on. You start to think 10 steps ahead and automatically assume you already know what's going to happen during the process. Oh, I'm going to make this move and then this is going to happen. And then after that, this is going to happen. And then after this happens and then this is going to happen. You start assuming you already know. When in actuality, none of it happened just yet. None of it is true. None of it hasn't even happened. The thought of the future. For worse, the thought of the past, thinking the past is still in the present moment. So now you have so many people thinking the past is in the present moment. And they're thinking the future right now. They went through the process of the future, right? So they're thinking of the future as if they already gone through it. It's like, oh, you know what? When I make this decision, this is going to happen. And then when that happens, I'm afraid if that's going to happen. And then if I do that, maybe that'll spill over to this and then I'm going to die. So then now they start moving within that hesitation. They move within that scarcity. They move with that fear. They move with that anxiety. So what do you do, fam? What do you do when you know that the world is in your head? What do you do when you know that there's a lot of stories that you're creating may not just be true about yourself, about the world? What do you do, right? When you know this information yourself, what do? You must question, you must observe, you must prioritize truth, you must prioritize things that actually matter. You must prioritize things that can allow you to see the world through an accurate perspective. So now you move with the full understanding of oneself rather than moving on hope or moving on, oh, I believe this to be, or moving on wishing that life will be this way. Rather than looking at what is. Can you see the world through the eyes of a mind that's what is without judgment? Not judging this is the right way, not judging this is the wrong way, but can you see the world through the eyes of a mind that just doesn't judge? It just observes. Is that even possible for people? You see, something about perception, fam, and perspective and angle, and if there's certain things about yourself that you refuse to address. And there's certain things about yourself that you ignore. If there's certain things about yourself that you're just not interested in, then of course you're going to see the world through the eyes of this narrow perspective, right? Of course you're going to see the world through the eyes of this perspective that wishes things were a certain way, because I have no intention to address this. I feel like it's impossible to understand this, or I have no interest to address this. Because of that, what happens? I have no interest, right? I have no interest to understand. I have no energy to understand. There's a problem. I'm too afraid to understand. This problem I'm ignoring. So now I want the world to be a certain way. Instead of looking at it for what it actually is, what's really going on. Take things what's in a way where what's really going on with myself, what's really going on. What do I really have control of? What do I really have responsibility of? Can I control what happens to me, or can I control how I react and respond to what happens to me? Can I make an adjustment? Can I adapt and adjust? Can I observe? Can I question? These are the conversations within yourself you need to be having, fam. A lot of people are just moving based on what they wish was true, or they're moving based on their judgments and opinions. I'm going to move with my judgments. This is what I think, and that's it. I'm not even looking to question it. This is what I want it to be. I'm not even looking. Nope. I'm just going. And then they wonder why they're in conflict with themselves. They wonder why they feel the way they feel about themselves. They start to normalize conflict within their own self. Oh no, this is normal. It's normal to be in conflict in myself. It's normal to feel hate and envy, and this stuff is normal. It's normal to be this way, Anthony. It's normal. But a lot of if you stop looking for the right way, the normal way, if you stop looking for the way and actually just observe with your own level of awareness, your own clarity, your own just wanting to understand what is true, if you were just to observe, what would you see? A totally different world. When people come at you with their perception of you and their perspective of you, when they have no idea on how they just see you and then they react and respond, you're like, oh, it's cool. I get it. The world is in their head. I get it. This is how they feel from their perception and their perspective. It's true, right? That is true for them, but that's not true in actuality. It's their reality. In actuality, it's like no one knows, this is me, how I feel about myself, and then there's others' perception of you, right? You can accept the opinions of others, or you can observe why they're saying what they're saying. You can observe why things are happening in your life right now. You can observe, you can judge it too, which most people do. They judge it, right? They look at their life, oh, I'm never going to figure this out. Okay, whether you're right or wrong, you're never going to figure it out. But if you were to observe the situation, change your perspective, change your angle, what happens? You get interested, no? You're looking at life from a totally different pair of eyes. You're looking at things from this angle of like, okay, what's happening? What's going on? Is this educating me on something? Can I adapt and adjust? You guys getting this, fam? How important it is to control, to create a life around the priorities of being clear, aware, and doing what's healthy for the body and mind, just to have an accurate outlook on what's going on in your life. An accurate outlook on what's happening with the world, like an accurate outlook. When you're looking at things, you're like, oh, is this what is, or this is what I wish it was? Oh, man. To prioritize that, to care about that, to understand that, it's a different mentality. So many people are just so interested in feeling good that they don't want to understand what's going on. They just want to feel good. I just want to feel good. That's it. I don't want to understand the source of my problem. I don't want to understand why I'm in this position that I'm in. I just want to go around and start just trusting and believing. That's all I want to do. I want to take somebody's word. If it feels good, I just take the word. What's wrong with that? The world is there. Instead of observing, hey, why am I feeling this way? Why do I feel tired? Why do I feel sluggish? Why do I always feel confused? Why do I feel sluggish, right? These are things that you got to pick up within yourself, fam. Ask yourself these questions, right? Why am I getting the results I'm getting? Not judging it. Oh, I'm getting the results I'm getting. No. It's like, why am I getting the results I'm getting? This is not very robotic either. This is not robot, be a robot. Hey, be a robot. No, we're not talking about being robotic. We're talking about observing to understand the root cause to why what's happening is happening, right? Understanding the process of the mind, understanding that the world is in your head, understanding that you see the world through the eyes of your perspective, understand that there's what is and then there's your perception of what is. So if you can understand that, how close are you to the truth of what's really going on? Are you interested in that? If you're not interested, then you're just reacting through life, right? You're reacting through life. You're not responding. You're not adjusting. You're not adapting. You're just reacting. Give me some fire emojis if you guys understand what is being said. Give me some fires if you guys are here paying attention closely to what is being said. Because your perception of what is what life is about, right? So now can you see what is from the closest, can you get to the closest thing to what is? About yourself, about the world, about how you feel, the moves you're making. Like, fam, listen, all this stuff is so interesting to me. Because you can easily come up with any story, fam, on why things are going on in your life and what you prioritize. You could come up with any story. You could come up with anything. You could come up with anything. You can observe and literally come up with anything. Think about it. What kind of questions you ask yourself to gain more clarity? Simple. Which is not so simple, right? Simple. What do I prioritize? What do I care about? Am I never-ending search for the best escape to my problem, or do I want the actual solution? Do I prioritize the truth? Or am I too busy judging, right? Do I prioritize the truth, or am I too busy judging? Do I observe myself? Am I the healthiest version of myself physically and mentally? Because if you're not clear here, how can you see the world through the eyes of a fresh mind? How can you see things clearly if you're not solid with yourself physically and mentally? How can you see the world through the eyes of a fresh mind, clear mind, an accurate outlook that's willing to question and observe if you're not solid with yourself physically and mentally? So the first thing to gain clarity is I would ask myself, what do I prioritize? What do I care about? What do I value? Do I see the world through the eyes of what I wish it was, or through the eyes of one who sees it for what it actually is? Am I assuming? Am I giving opinions? Or am I looking at the facts of things? Am I just allowing things to play out? Am I cutting corners? Am I sluggish? Am I confused? These are the things that you ask yourself, but not just ask the question and then allow the universe to take over. We're talking about asking the question and observing the answer. And not not looking for the answer in hey, let me tell you the answer, or let me look for it. Let me look for the answer. It's observing the process. Does that make sense? Let me know if that making sense, fam. Let me know if that makes sense. Can you guys see that? So now what do we do with this information? What do we do with this information, fam? Think about it. What do we do with this information? What do we do with this, right? What do we do with this information? What do we do? What do we do, right? World psychologically pulling you in multiple directions. You feel a certain way about yourself. You don't question. You're not observing. You're not interested. What do? Just think about the mind that is not interested in wanting to understand itself. What is that mindset like? What is that mentality like? What is that moveset like? What's the quality of that human being? Just think about it. No judgment. Let's take the judgment out the window. Let's observe this from a fresh perspective. Let's just observe what's happening, right? What is the quality of that mind that's not interested in understanding itself? What does it do? How does it move? Things are happening, it's just reacting. But what is it reacting on? Wanting to understand what is true, adapting and adjusting? Or what is it reacting on? It's reacting on conditioning. It's reacting on just feelings, emotion. It's reacting on confusion. It's reacting. It's just reacting. Oh, this is uncomfortable. I don't know what's going on. Oh, the world's ending. This is uncomfortable. I don't know what's going on. The world's ending. This is what happens when you're not solid with yourself, fam. You don't really understand what's really going on because you're just going based on how you feel for the moment rather than observing the process, saying, hey, well, this is not a big deal. There's some things that are literally not a big deal. Oh, this happened. It's okay. It caused an inconvenience for the moment. Let me adapt and adjust. That is a solid mind. This is not about being perfect. I said this in my episode on my live yesterday. It's not about perfection. Some things do hurt. Some things do feel certain way. Attachment to anything creates the fear of losing it. So you may just be reacting. Ah, fuck, that was unfortunate. Ah, that hurt. Ah, my arm came off. But instantly when you observe this stuff, you say, okay, what is that? Why psychologically you're reacting to things? What are you reacting on, right? You say fear, reacting on fear. Okay. A lot of it is conditioning. A lot of it is based on, oh, I was taught to just say this is bad, this is good. Not the arm. Man, I'm just thinking as I speak, I'm observing, I'm watching this play out as I hear myself speak, and I'm thinking about this process. It's very interesting how easy it is for us to confuse ourselves. It's very easy to convince ourselves how difficult, oh no, this is what's going on. And we make it really hard on ourselves by how we feel about ourselves, our conditioning, what we prioritize, what we care about, what we're really doing behind the scenes, moment to moment awareness. For a lot of people, man, they're not observing from moment to moment. They're reacting from moment to moment. They're not aware from moment to moment. And moment to moment doesn't mean, oh, okay, what's going on? No, we're talking about just changing your priorities. So now you exist through life with this foundation. Your priority of wanting to be clear and aware, your priority of living in truth, your priority of wanting to observe and question, your priority of knowing that, hey, failure is part of the process. Fear is the biggest illusion of them all. So then you start understanding these things and you just live. You build a life on top of that foundation. So it's not just every moment, forcing yourself to be a certain way. No, it's changing your priorities, man. It's understanding your priorities, and then understanding that there is no right or wrong way. There's priorities and then there's consequences. I prioritize this. My moves are backed by what I prioritize. And because I prioritize that, that's the result that I want. Now I'm constant search for that result based on what I prioritize. But then that causes conflict in other areas, maybe, right? If I'm searching for the greatest escape to my problem, yeah, I can go out and escape every Friday night. I can go out and drink my life away. I can go out and do these things that dull the mind, but the consequences to that choice is dullness. The consequences of the choice is that the problem still exists. The consequences to that choice, there's something there. Not that you're wrong for it, bad for it, stupid for it. It's just consequences, it's just results. So how can we observe the result? How can we observe just the consequences of the things that we prioritize? So for a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm broke. You don't understand. I don't have money. But what do you prioritize? Do you prioritize in making more money? Or do you prioritize comfort and security? Are you prioritizing doing what's most pleasurable? Are you looking to figure it out? Or are you just saying, no money, just to complain? But you're not really doing anything. Oh, I'm so overweight. I'm unhealthy. I'm sluggish. I have low energy. Cool. What are your priorities? And it's all a choice. It's all what you care about. It's all how you feel about yourself. It's all what you value as important. And if you value these things as important, fam, what would life look like for you? What would life look like for you? Life will be different. Life will be different when you change your priorities. You would change the course of your life because now your moves are backed by what you value as important, which means the results in your life in all areas of your life make sense because of what you care about, how you feel about yourself, what you consume. A lot of those things play a huge role to why you're getting the results you're getting. So it makes sense. So if it makes sense, why do we judge it? Why do we say it's good, bad, right, or wrong? Why do we even make it in a way where it's like, oh man, like why am I in this position when what I care about, what I prioritize, what I value, how I treat myself, how I feel about myself, how I take care about myself, what I consume, all of that is getting the results I'm getting now. Everything. It can't just be, yeah, but I listen to this book and I read that book and I eat good food. But if you're not prioritizing the truth, you're not observing, you're not adapting, you're not adjusting from moment to moment, you're not looking to grow, you're looking to stay the same, play it safe. You don't put yourself in a position to reposition your mind and your life, then how do you expect change? How do you expect clarity? How do you expect to get a different result when this makes sense? It makes the most sense. Your position makes the most sense. The situation you are in makes so much sense. Can we observe it? Can we study it? Can we be aware of it? Can we learn about it? Can we understand the process of it? Can we understand ourselves to the point where we see ourselves so clearly, we be like, oh, okay, cool. This is where I'm at. This is what I need to work on. This is what I need to do. Simple, but not so simple when you're not interested, right? Simple, but not so simple when you don't feel like doing it. Simple, but not so simple when your priorities are in conflict with the results that you say you want. If I prioritize the best escape to my problems, not the solution, then there's conflict. Something to think about, fam. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being on. I'm out of here. I appreciate you. Give me some fire emojis if you found this valuable. A mindset that priority clarify be replaced by confusion. A mindset that, okay, I don't understand. Love you guys, yo. I'm out of here. You guys have a phenomenal day today. Moment to moment awareness. Get clear, adapt and adjust, and take responsibility. Love you, fam. Peace.